Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a video that a lot of you, or maybe none of you, I don't know, have been waiting for. Today we're gonna be talking about money.
Tell them to bring me my money.
How I make money as a full-time music producer, if I even make money as a full-time music producer, or if I'm thousands of dollars in debt to various music production companies across the world. I don't know. In today's video, we're gonna find out, so let's go. So I want to start by saying this. First off, there are lots of ways to make money as a producer. It's not oversaturated. There's not too many producers. Steve Jobs once said, everything is a remix of something, right? Unless you were the very, very first producer, everything after that is just kind of like a different version of it. How I make money might be very different than how somebody else makes money versus how someone else makes money. I'm going to walk you guys through how I personally did it because that's what I know best, and I think it'll be beneficial to you guys. So yeah, I want to break it down into 3 steps, and let's go. So I first want to start with brand and credibility. And this is something that a lot of you might even skip through this part of the video, right? You're like, okay, dude, just tell me how to sell beats, which we'll get to in a minute. Brand and credibility is basically like the basis of every business ever. When you go to buy a computer, you know of Apple and you know Microsoft because they've built that brand and credibility up over the years. You know the logos, you know the colors they use, you know what they stand for, you know what they do to help people. All of that stuff affects you as a customer and you going to buy their product. So when I first started building my brand and credibility, I started putting out content, videos of me making beats. So now I'm physically showing people what I can provide to you. They know the quality of my music, right? Because they see it, they hear it. Even from like the colors I use, I always use the color blue. I use the butterfly. I use the butterfly emoji. I use the same font. Everything goes down to your brand recognition, what people see and what people think and feel when they see your brand. So brand is kind of like that look, feel, what people think, and credibility is, do people trust you?
I'm about that. Big trust. Woo woo.
Are you a good person? Do you help them when they need help with something? If they bought something from you, did they get it on time? Did they get what they wanted? Are there other people in the community that like what they do? All of those things go into someone buying something from you or you buying something from a company. It starts with that initial connection. And the reason I just made that face is because some sort of connection is so key. You don't buy a shoe from Nike because Nike says, hey, go buy our shoes. What they say, Nike stands for grit, toughness, and then they show like your favorite athlete dunking a basketball.
Best deodorant in the world. All the other stuff is garbage.
Because that's what you're going to connect with. If you're an athlete, you're going to connect and be like, hey, there's my favorite player. He works hard. I want to work hard. I want to be a good basketball player. So therefore, now I go and buy Nike shoe because I have connections with them. So now take all of those things that I just used with Nike and make them into something that's related to producers, right? Instead of a shoe that makes you run faster, jump higher, work harder, makes you tougher, all those things that Nike says their shoe does, maybe you have a sample pack and you are like, hey, my sample pack makes it easier to make beats, right? I already have the melodies there for you. My samples are high quality. They're going to make your beats way better. Like all the things like that are what's actually going to get you to sell something. And then some of that more like credibility stuff, if you're putting out videos and people actually see you, they start to trust you. Maybe you build up a following. Maybe you've actually talked to them and helped them before with like different music production stuff. People build that connection. They see that credibility. They build that trust. That's going to make them more likely to buy something from you as well. All right, for the second section, I want to talk about having multiple streams of revenue. I think a lot of you need to get out of your head that being a producer is all about selling beats, selling more beats.
Bears eat beats. Oh. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
If I had to be honest, out of all my streams of revenue, selling beats that I had already made, like somebody just going to my store, is probably like 4th, maybe even like 5th on my list of revenue streams that actually bring in money for me. So kind of getting into my sources of revenue, we have beat sales, right? Which I already mentioned. Custom beat sales, which is a whole different ball game from just making a beat and hoping somebody buys it. This is somebody contacting you saying, hey, I'd like a track similar to this. Can you make it for me? Custom work for me only. I actually get a lot of revenue from this. This is probably like a top 2 or 3 revenue stream for me. This is what people really want, right? They want something personally made for them. And you might be wondering like, how do I get people to come to me and ask me to make a track for them? Well, that all goes back to the brand and credibility, right? You have to have some sort of presence somewhere for people to see you. Maybe that's because they saw one of your videos and then they said, hey, I'd like a custom beat. Next up would be company promotion. I've taken the time over the last 4 years to kind of build up an audience, build up people that watch my stuff, watch my videos, build up that credibility. Here we are again. Companies want to get their products in front of eyes, and I have those eyes that watch me. So therefore companies will pay me to have their product in my videos. And then I also get free, music production stuff as well, which is also super helpful. But none of that, and I mean none of that, is possible if I didn't take the time to build up my following, put out a bunch of content, things like that. And I'm not like trying to brag about it.
I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation.
That's all from like hard work, getting people's attention and stuff like that. The next thing is sample pack sales. If you are good at making melodies or you're good at sound design, there is a way to monetize that. You guys know I give away a bunch of free samples, but I also have sample packs that people can buy. Next up are like kind of two little ones. Well, they're little right now for me, but that is YouTube ad revenue. So I actually get paid from YouTube for my views, and then I actually get paid for putting out my music on streaming platforms from like Spotify and Apple Music. Once again, the YouTube thing is something that I had to build up over time, right? In order to get monetized on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours on your YouTube channel. That took me almost 1.5 to 2 years to even get to that point. And kind of like my last two things that I'm still very, very new to. First one is merch, and then I'm also going to do some consultations, right? I already help people a lot for free. As you guys know, you can send me a DM on Instagram and I'll respond 100%, help you for free, no questions asked. The main point of all of this and me breaking down those different things is the more streams of revenue you have, the more money you're able to make. Let's say 1 month I have a bad month and no one buys a beat, right? Okay, well maybe that month I made a couple $1,000s off selling sample packs. Great. Maybe I don't sell as many sample packs the next week. I sell a couple beats, but this time I had 4 companies want to put a product in my video and pay for a product promotion in my video. And then on top of all that, I still have my consistent streams, my YouTube ad revenue coming in. So it's just pulling from a bunch of different spots that are going to actually help you bring in money. I've actually seen a lot of musicians say you want to have 5 different streams of revenue or more if you can. What you are basically trying to do is make money come in as consistent as possible. So now I want to kind of walk through the tools that I actually use to make money. First up would be beat sales, right? We talked a little bit about beat sales. I usually get beat sales from either someone DMing me on Instagram saying, hey, I'd like to buy this beat that you just posted, or someone will go to my beat store. And for my beat store, I use BeatStars. They have a really great platform for just getting stuff out there. And they also have their own marketplace, which people actually buy beats off their marketplace as well, which is really cool. You get some like nice organic reach. I've actually made an entire video on this, but what I use to sell sample packs is a website builder called Shopify. So Shopify is a monthly subscription, but you got to spend a little bit of money to make some money. I know that can be super scary at first. It's just kind of something that you have to kind of get used to. And then honestly, if you're like an actual business and you spend some money on your business, you can write that off at the end of the year, at least in the United States, as a tax expense. For my merch, I actually use the same Shopify store that I use for my sample packs. Patreon is actually like a subscription service where people can subscribe to you for whatever service you might be giving them. For me, it might be like group consultations. But yeah, Patreon is an awesome way to get reoccurring monthly revenue. And then when it comes to like streaming services, I'm sure you guys have seen in my video before, I use DistroKid to get my music out there on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, things like that. If you click the link down in my description, you can actually get 7% off DistroKid. It's super cheap. It's like $20 a year to get unlimited songs out there on stream platforms, which are just going to return you money and make you money back. All right, so now I just want to talk a little bit about the patience of actually building a business, which is what a lot of you maybe don't want to hear. You want that overnight success. You want things to happen immediately. You just have to ultimately understand that something like this is going to take a lot of time, but in the end, it's worth it. And you can't start any sooner than right now. So with that being said, it can also be super maybe disappointing if you haven't sold a beat or you haven't sold a sample pack. You've been maybe making music for this long and you haven't done this much with it. But if that is you, taking a look in the mirror and being like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do different? Let's try some different things. I was making music for a year before I ever put out like my first video on Instagram. And I was like, I just had this revelation where I was like, oh my God, like if I'm just making music, no one's gonna see it unless I have some way to put it out there, or I find some way to get people's attention or get people watching it. And I've had these kind of like mini revelations or like discoveries over like the last couple of years that have kind of helped me realize like, okay, this isn't working, so let's do something else. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. I just wanted to give you guys maybe some direction, some insight to kind of how I do things, how I approach some things. But yeah, as always, you guys can send me a DM on Instagram. I'll gladly help you for free. Just DM me at BeautifulBeats99. And yeah, hopefully you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Keep making music, keep working hard. Peace.